Hello beautiful people and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 institutions that are designed to assist you as a small business to start, to grow, to develop. They provide support in all different ways, including funding. So please make sure that you continue tuning in right up to the end of the video. My name is Thandiswa Mahaya and I talk all things relating to business, making money and the family life. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining us once again. We truly appreciate your continued support. And if you're coming through for the first time, consider subscribing and switching on the notification bell if you're a person who wants to be in a place that ensures that you grow and develop that business of yours. Now, let us not waste time and jump right into it. Now, the first institution that I'm going to be talking about is the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. Now, this department is as a result of a merger of 2 main departments, which is the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department of Economic Development. They were at some point previously in history, not so long ago, they were 2 different and separate departments. But then government decided, you know what, let's put them together to form the DTIC. Now, I want to, as I'm doing this video, to tell you, just to give you a bit of context in terms of the mandate of each of the institutions that I'm going to be talking about. And the reason for that is so that you can understand how you align to that opportunity that is presented by the existence of each department or each institution that I'm going to be referring to in this video. Now let's look at the DTIC's mandate. The DTIC's mandate has got so many different factors. I've picked a couple, and these ones are the most relevant to you as a small business, especially, looking at people that are around my space and the small businesses that I work with and the small businesses that follow me. The first one is the issue of industrialization. The department has a mandate around ensuring industrialization in this country. Now, for the person who might not understand the importance of industrialization, if we are to see any kind of improvement in our economy in South Africa, there needs to be industrialization. And now, industrialization allows for a country to grow. It allows for small businesses to contribute to the economy, to participate meaningfully in the economy. It allows for a reduction of imports. I think I want to speak about industrialization from that perspective. Think about it. There are so many different things in South Africa, our very own country, that we need to get from the import market, that we actually need to import into this country. And the reason for that is we have inferiority around our industries. They're not developed to such an extent that we can produce these things locally so that there is no need to import, or there is a reduction in the number of imports that we see in our country. So if the department has a responsibility to ensure that, there are industries in our country, industrialization is improved, it basically means that they have a responsibility to ensure that there are many businesses that manufacture within the country. So they need to facilitate that process. They need to support that process. Now think about it. If you're a person that says, okay, I'm going to ensure that I produce plastic products. I'm just making an example. Plastic products, I'm going to manufacture them. You are the best candidate that can enable the department to fulfill its mandate. Do you understand? So that is why I'm talking about the opportunities that they provide, because if you can be able to understand what they're trying to achieve, then you can position yourself as a good candidate to can help them achieve their mandate or deliver on their mandate. This is just one component. So they are very much, focused a lot on industrialization. They are focused a lot on manufacturing. The other thing, they are focused on promoting globalization, or the participation of small businesses in this country in the global world. Now, remember, in terms of us being able to produce, any country that is able to produce and set locally and satisfy its local market and its own citizens in terms of consumption, and also have access that goes out, that country benefits. That country benefits. That is why China benefits, because they have mastered the process of producing locally, and then they are satisfying the global market. So they are exporting all their stuff, and that puts both the country at an advantage, the economy of the country at an advantage. It puts the producer, which is you, the small business, at an advantage. So everybody wins. They're also responsible for championing economic transformation. Now, I know the debate and the conversation around economic transformation is really controversial, and I don't really want to get into it. But what I can say is that it's the responsibility to ensure that people who have been previously excluded from participating in the mainstream economy, from having sustainable businesses, from making money, from building wealth, from really being part of the engine of the economy, they need to be supported so that they are also able to change that, like that is transformed, that is changed. There needs to be an experience by this country of ours of people who have been excluded from participating sustainably so within the mainstream economy. They need to now be supported to can participate, to can be part of the 1% of the rich of our country. That is all I'm going to say on that. So now think about it. Which category do you fall under? And if you fall under the previously excluded in participating in the economy, are you then not appetizing to be supported? Obviously, guys, everything that I'm going to say is going to be based on you need to have a good business idea. You need to put in the work that is needed for you to come up with a workable, sustainable business model. Basically, that is going to be the foundation. Also, as part of their mandate, they need to obviously ensure there is employment opportunities that are created. So when the minute you come up and say, I want to manufacture something, I want to start this business, I want to grow this business, I want to expand this business, I want to tap into the export market, obviously, automatically that translates to jobs. Or you need to find a way within your model to build that, and you will be attractive for support. You will be putting yourself at the top of all the applications. And they also need, obviously, to create policies, legislation around ensuring a conducive environment that ensures trade, investment, or that support trade, that supports investment. Because obviously, when I'm talking trade, I'm talking country to country trade, which goes back to, exporting. At the same time, it also means, when I look at investment, sometimes some projects that need to be rolled out, they require external injection, because we might not have, as a country or as that small business, the muscle to can roll out certain high impact projects and programs that will speak volumes to all the different areas of their mandate that they're trying to achieve. So then, they need to find ways to encourage investment into the certain programs, even if they're going to be partnering with, external donors, they maybe foreign direct investment and other means. But it's also part of their mandate that they're trying to ensure that they create a conducive environment for trade, for investment, for employment creation, and for full participation within the economy. Now, one thing that I do want to tell you about the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, they have a lot of incentives. Actually, they have over 20 incentives. Now, the manner in which they provide support is so many different ways. There's different programs. I'm not going to get into those programs. They have a couple of programs. But what I want you to just focus on is the category of incentives, because that is where you as an SME can be able to easily benefit, So when you're looking at these incentives, they have over 20, but I'm just going to mention 10 in this video for the sake of continuity. I'm going to, at the end, as I speak about the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, I'm going to indicate their website. Your responsibility is to go and read up more. We need to be so curious to get information, because our gap and our struggles as small Black businesses, it's not only what we're shouting about. Also, it's the fact that we don't have the information, and the fact that we do not want to go and get the information, and the fact that when the information is brought to us, we do not do anything about it. So I invite you to actually go to their website, read. If you are not willing to read, if you can't read, then at least listen to videos and people who are in the space who are empowering you, instead of watching something that does not contribute anything to your life. Watch something that is going to give you information. The one who is strong is the one who is empowered. The one who is effective is the one who is empowered. The one who is different is the one who has the information. So you need to every single day wake up and say, I'm going to find a new piece of information. Now, before I blab too much, let me get back to mentioning. I'm just going to mention 10 of these incentives so that you can have an idea of some of the programs that they have. And you can, choose one and say, okay, I have an interest in this one. Let me go read up on it and understand it better. Number 1, the Agro Processing Support Program. Number 2, Aquaculture Development and Enhancement Program. Number 3, the Automotive Investment Scheme. Number 4, the Black Industrialist Scheme, the controversial one, but it's also a scheme that people are benefiting from. Number 5, Critical Infrastructure Program. Number 6, Clothing, Textile, Footwear, and Leather Growth Program. Number 7, Firm Incentives. Number 8, Innovation and Technology Funding Investment. Number 9, Manufacturing Support Program. And lastly, number 10, Sector-Specific Assistance Scheme. These are just the number of different incentives that they have. Now, you can be able to go onto their website, that is the dtic.gov.za. Now, let's move right along to the second institution that I'm going to be telling you about. It is the Department of Agriculture. Now, please, if you are a farmer or you're interested in some kind of farming in South Africa, make sure that the Department of Agriculture is your best friend. Now, let's first address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that we have got a new cabinet. And there have been some changes in this ministry. There's been a separation of the ministry. There's agriculture now separated from land reform. That's okay. Those are just things that are there. But think about the fact that whoever comes into office will want to show that they are the preferred candidate and they're best to occupy that position. So their focus is most probably going to be around ensuring they show how effective they are. Number 1. Number 2, we have got 2026 coming right up now. So the focus of any kind of department that is really forward-thinking, visionary, trying to correct mistakes and problem solving and ensuring that the people on the ground are supported, they need to ensure that within 2025, 2024, 2025, before the local government elections in 2026, there needs to be a serious improvement. Think about that for a moment and think about how many initiatives are going to be rolled out, how many opportunities are going to be coming up from these institutions. And when your responsibility is to ensure that you align yourself. Your responsibility is to get enough information right now so that you align yourself, because this is it. This is where we are now, okay? And there is no new leader that would want to come to a department and destroy what's there. They're probably going to be keeping the good and enhancing and improving and adding onto it, all right? If they have timing. Now, I have tried to focus more on, the issues that relate to specifically to the Department of Agriculture. I'm not talking about land right now. I'm only talking about agriculture. That's what I want to focus for the sake of this video. The first thing I want to address is the mandate that the Department of Agriculture has and the things that they need to deliver on and their responsibilities, right? There's a lot I could say, but I've picked a few things just to help you to think. The first one, they are supposed to ensure sustainable agriculture. They are supposed to ensure food security. They are supposed to ensure improved participation of previously excluded farmers and members of rural communities within the agri economy. And they also need to focus a lot on rural, on ensuring that a lot of work is done around the rural space. They need to ensure improved agricultural production. Okay, improved agricultural production, number of livestock produced, number of crops, number of tons of crops produced. Those things, that's where they're focusing on, because those are some of the indicators that will show that there is growth towards the correct trajectory within the agricultural space. Opportunities for women, youth, previously disadvantaged, people living with disability, things like that. Now, what I did in preparation for this video, I also thought, you know what, let me check on the current strategy that exists. I've made reference a lot to their current strategic plan that spans from 2020 to 2025, because that is what is going to give you an understanding of what they're trying to do, so that you can align your business appropriately. You speak the same language. You when you show up, you are like, I'm the answer to your questions, I'm the answer to your problems, I am going to make you shine. Because if you work with me, this is what you're going to get, etc., etc., etc. And in understanding what they're trying to achieve and what they're trying to do, you can say, I will be able to help you in this way, and the other. They want, as part of some of the outcomes within that strategic plan, they want increased agricultural production in terms of tonnage, in terms of livestock. The second most difficult area that farmers are struggling with, or people in the agricultural space are struggling with, is access to markets. So they're also focusing on this, ensuring increased access to markets new markets, while retaining existing markets. A market needs to be maintained. It's like, think about it. When you think about a market, now you think about a customer. If you treat a customer well, you will keep them. But if the minute you don't treat that customer well, you will lose it. So you want to ensure that when it comes to market access, especially in the agricultural space, we're talking quality. We're talking what kind of products are you putting out in terms of, if you're crop production, livestock, how are your breeds? How are your how are your animals? How is your livestock? Because those things will affect your ability to penetrate certain markets, because when you get into the market, it will have specific stipulated terms in terms of what they will take. So the department is able to then facilitate at that level, arrangements, partnerships, and negotiate on behalf of small producers, and negotiate for access to markets, and then come back to the producers and provide them with support to can meet the standard of the market, things like that. And they also, have an outcome that focuses on an inclusive and sustainable rural economy, because if we face it thoroughly, like I'm from the Eastern Cape, and if we face it, for instance, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Free State also has got a lot of, but it's more commercial, a lot of production in the agricultural space, but it's very commercial, and some parts of Western Cape as well. So there are certain provinces, KwaZulu-Natal as well, like there are so many provinces in our country that have got land, and where agricultural production can actually thrive, is already thriving, but obviously improvements, especially in terms of who is participating in the agri economy, that part needs a lot of improvement. And so this department is responsible for ensuring that these things are done. Obviously, please don't be shocked. There are new things that are going to be coming up, because there's new leadership in the department, and there's changes that will, still need to be streamlined and implemented because of the separation of the department, and a whole lot more. What I want to make mention of is they roll out certain specific programs, financial and non-financial, a lot of financial programs that have been able to assist people with these things. Now, I want to give you context. People have been able to receive livestock. People have been able to receive input support, like support with inputs to produce crop. People have been assisted with infrastructure, fencing, boreholes, tanks, and so much more, guys. So this is where you need to be, okay? Now, a pro tip, please find out who your extension officer is where you are based, because the Department of Agriculture does have extension officers all over currently. I don't think that will be changed, but we shall see. So make sure that you know your extension officers. Number 2, make sure that they know you exist. Whether you come to them and register on their database, but find a way to let them get on the system. Let them know that you exist and this is what you do. So go to them, schedule meetings, tell them about everything that you do and what you are hoping to do. Make sure that you provide them with your compliance information. The nice thing with the Department of Agriculture, they allow you to be an individual, to trade as a farmer, an individual, just a person. They're not so strict. Currently, they're not so strict with, with regards to being registered. But there are certain compliances that you need to meet, though. So you can go there and let them know about your existence, even if you're an individual farmer, or you are a registered business, or you are a cooperative. It doesn't really matter. But the important thing is that they must know you exist. And now we get into the last department or institution of government that I'm going to be talking about today on this video. I'm probably going to have to do like a couple of parts to unpack more information, and there is so many. I was actually sitting down and thinking there are so many of these institutions that I would probably have content for years, just telling you guys about what they do and how you can be able to benefit. But I think for me, I do not want to only focus on funding opportunities in terms of the content that I bring you, because I have seen businesses that have received financial support, they have received funding, but then they died. Because a business is not only about funding. So you need to balance. That's why my content is not only funding. I do not want to only focus on funding, but I want to focus on the holistic business, because the small business must be holistically healthy in order for that small business to succeed. And that's my goal. That's my focus. Anyways, let's get into the third institution that provides support to small businesses. And this is the Department of Small Business Development. And I don't know what you want to say about the department. You can have all negativity that you like. You can be... none of the departments I've mentioned in this video that are perfect, okay? You are not going to find that. This is life. It's exactly like life. It's not perfect. And I do not want us to be sucked into debating the imperfections, but I want us to more focus our energy on what the department can offer for my business and how I can strategize so that I can align myself and get the benefit. That is all. Because I am telling you the truth. If you answer the mandate, the problems, if you become, if the existence of your business becomes the solution to that which the government is trying to achieve, why would they hate you? Think about that. Why would they not give you attention? If the list of what they're trying to achieve in terms of their mandate, their objectives, and the outcomes that they need to deliver on is X, Y, Z, and when you understand it and you structure yourself to respond to that, why wouldn't they listen to you? It makes no sense that we always focused on the negative. And I'm not about that. I'm not about that. You can do that elsewhere. But if you are here, now I'm about empowering you, giving you information. You need to take the information and run with it. Okay? Run with it. So the Department of Small Business Development has done a lot of work. It might not be satisfactory, but their incentives are open to everyone and anyone. Anyone and everyone that knows about it and that makes use of it, that structures themselves in terms of the business, any business that structures itself to align. There must be alignment between you and these institutions so that they give you the time of day. Now, I want to focus a little bit on what they are trying to achieve as a department, their mandate, just like the other ones that I did earlier. They need to focus on so many interesting things, but their calling is on SMEs and cooperatives. Those two types and kinds of businesses. I have no idea why they feel they need to separate an SME, which is probably going to be in the form of a PTY Ltd, most probably, or a CC, and a cooperative. I don't know why they feel they need to separate, but that's the language they use. They will say SMEs and cooperatives. Maybe it's because they are governed by two different acts. I don't know, but it's not important. It's neither here or there. This department is supposed to champion the development of entrepreneurship. This department is supposed to champion SME support, cooperative support. They need to create an enabling environment in terms of policy and legislation that ensures the growth and development, the sustainability of SMEs and cooperatives. They need to ensure the increased participation of SMEs and cooperatives in the mainstream market, in the economy. They have a focus around supporting village and township-based SMEs and cooperatives. They provide non-financial support and financial support to new and existing cooperatives and SMEs. Do you understand? Now, I want to make mention that this department works very closely with its agencies, which is the Small Enterprise Finance Agency and the Small Enterprise Development Agency. I'm probably going to unpack those on a different video. You can also make sure that you knock on this door of this department. It doesn't matter if you go like directly to the national office, but what will be easier for you based on where you are located in this country, they do have offices and branches, whether it's CEDA, Small Enterprise Development Agency, or Small Enterprise Finance Agency, branches all over the country. So you can knock on the nearest one to you and start making use of the opportunities that come from, being part of this department. Now, I've spoken about these 3 institutions that you can knock on. These are the pro tips that I want to give you as I wrap it up. Number 1, make sure that you are fully compliant. Make sure that you are fully compliant. Because non-compliance is what is going to cause you to not be able to participate in some opportunities that they will offer you. Now, with each and every opportunity that is presented within this institution, most of the time, 99% of the time, there is something called guidelines. So if, for instance, you'd say, I'm going to go for the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and I'm going to look at this specific incentive, then go and find the guidelines for that incentive. Read those guidelines, understand those guidelines, unpack those guidelines, call them, contact them to help you understand those guidelines further. Those guidelines will be like the guiding document to your application process. When you are applying for any financial support or non-financial support, like when you're completing the application forms for whatever you choose to go for from any of these institutions, make sure that you fully complete your application forms. And the last one that I'm going to tell you that is very important is to make sure that you follow up. It is your own responsibility to follow up. Do not let them sleep. Do not let them breathe. Follow up, because they want to ensure that, you want this, you're hungry for this, and also because they are dealing with so many different applications. So follow up, and follow up. Please, small business owner, make sure that you follow up. And yeah, that is all I have time for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a returning subscriber, we appreciate you. And if you are new to our channel, please consider subscribing and switching the notification bell so that you may be kept abreast of when we put out new content. Otherwise, drop me in the comment section below. Tell me, what are you going to be trying out from these? Which one are you interested in? Drop me a question if you've got something that you'd like me to clarify, and I'll try to respond. Otherwise, that is all from me for today. Until next time, stay absolutely blessed.